What's up, everybody? Just like my loadout video and my top long range option video, it's that time in the season again where we do my close range video. If you know me, you know there won't be a single shotgun on this list because I don't endorse shotguns. I hate them. I hate when people use them. I hate when they use against me. I don't even like picking them up as ground loot when I got nothing else. I usually just stick with whatever pistol I'm landing in based off of the mode that we're in. But that all being said, this is going to really just be a top 10 SMG list. Just like my AR and LMG, I kept going, well, I want to add this one. And then it got close to 10. And I was like, well, I might as well just do a top 10. There's some guns that have been kind of left off here that I think some people would use, but it's really only a couple. The SMG meta is pretty wide open, but there is some that just don't make the list, and they're pretty much all Modern Warfare guns for one reason or the other. But that all being said, let's not waste time, and let's get right into my top 10 SMGs. Okay, so starting at number 10, we could have put the CX-9 in here, which I just think is too slow. The Modern Warfare AUG, which we could put in here because it's a really good time to kill, but I think that's too slow. You know, the Bison holds a lot of ammo and has an okay time to kill, but it's just slow and doesn't have the greatest time to kill. There's just a handful of SMGs. The KSP is just not powerful enough. That did get left off this list that you could make work, but these are my top 10 SMGs. And we're starting off number 1 with a gun that I would only use in solos, but still is one of the fastest up-close time to kills. And its only ammo is that it's high rate of fire, which leads to its fast time to kill. Just makes it run out of ammo after 1, maybe 2 people. That's the Fennec. The Fennec is arguably one of the best solo weapons to run. But that's just it. It really only works well in solos. It can work in duos, but outside of solos, this thing starts to become a mess. And so we have it with the Deadfall Barrel, which is similar to the Monolithic Integral on the MP5. The TAC Laser, you can do the 5 milliwatt if you like to hipfire. I'm not a big hipfire fan, so I stick with the TAC Laser on all my Modern Warfare SMGs. Then Merc Foregrip, 40-round drum, and no stock. One change I might make, especially if you're going to run this outside of solos and duos, is I would drop the no stock and I would do sleight of hand just to get the faster reload to keep staying engaged in the fight. Other than that, I wouldn't change this loadout at all. Moving on to number 9, we have the MP7. The MP7's got a really competitive time to kill up close, but once again, it's a Modern Warfare gun, so it's a little bit slower. And it used to be a really good sniper support when it was only Modern Warfare guns, but now there's better SMG sniper supports, and so it just doesn't have a great place when you consider there's one more Modern Warfare weapon that I have higher on the list that is really good up close time to kill, and it's the king of hipfire. So this just gets slotted in at 9. Like I said, there's the handful of guns that you could slot into 9 or 10, and you could remove these. You could remove this and the Fennec, but I like the MP7 still. I used it when I was first learning to snipe, and I still really like the MP7. But I have it built out the Monolithic Suppressor, the FSS Recon Barrel, the TAC Laser, which once again you can put 5 milliwatt if you like to hipfire, the Merc Foregrip, and the 60-round mag. You could also consider dropping the barrel or the laser for a no stock, but I just don't like that as much. I know some people do it, especially if you drop the barrel. With it being an SMG, you don't need the super long range, but this is how I like to kit it out. Like I said, if you like to hip fire, switch this to the 5 milliwatt laser. Otherwise, I would suggest just running it just like this. Then we move on to number 8, and we have the Modern Warfare MP5, which is the gun that I just mentioned that is the only Modern Warfare gun that I would probably put ahead of the MP7. And after this, I'll tell you right now, it's just going to be all Cold War SMGs, and they're all going to be built pretty much the same. So we have, that's actually the one, it should be the Monolithic Integral Suppressor, the TAC Laser, or the 5 milliwatt laser, based on how you like to play. The Merc Foregrip, the 45-round mag, and the collapsible stock. Because this thing got nerfed and it doesn't do as much damage per mag as it used to, I would consider dropping the stock and running sleight of hand just like you would on a Fennec. But I still like to just try to finesse people, and I like to run the collapsible stock instead because you get the movement speed, which you definitely need when you compare it to the Cold War weapons. So you could also consider keeping the stock and maybe dropping the TAC or the 5 mil laser, and this thing will still hip fire like a beast and still aim down quickly if you drop the laser for sleight of hand. Moving on to number 7, we have the Milano. The Milano used to be higher up, but it got nerfed at the beginning of the season, so it slots way down because the time to kill is just not great. The reason it stays on this list is because it has the furthest damage drop-off of any SMG, so it makes for a very good sniper support, even though it's a slow rate of fire, and you do have to consistently hit your shots, or you'll end up in trouble with this thing. It just doesn't have as competitive a time to kill up close as it used to, so it fell way down the list. And you can still run this as an AR if you want. But for the SMG, I run as Agency Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, and 55-round drum. If you want to run this as a long range, which it still works very well as a long range, you can go to the Field Agent Grip and then drop the Tiger Team and go to the 3x Optic. And you can still run that as an AR, and you can still kill people from a long distance with it. So if you wanted to run like the DMR as an up close or Type 63 as an up close, I would definitely recommend trying the Milano's long range. But because we're focused on close range, and this thing is not as fast as it used to be close range, it slots down to 7. Number 6, we have one that people like a lot more than me, and I just have the same problem I have with the Fennec, the Modern Warfare MP5, and even the gun that I actually have at number 1 at this list, and that's the MAC-10. The MAC-10, I remember when it was broken, especially the Gallantry Blueprint, and it was absolutely frying people. But then they nerfed it and nerfed it and nerfed it. And so now the biggest benefit is it has really good movement on it, and so I think that's why a lot of people like it. I'm just not a fan of running ammo when the time to kill isn't at the top of the list, and it's just not at the top of the list, so I'm just not a fan of always running out of ammo for a like middle of the list time to kill. But that being said, we have Agency Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, and 53-round drum. I would consider the Fast Mag because it has one of the highest rates of fire of all SMGs. So while that can be forgiving to fight, it also can be very unforgiving if you're still missing your shots because you're going to run out of ammo. And like I said, that's my big problem with the MAC-10. So I would consider the Fast Mag on this weapon. Now we get in the top 5 and the SMGs that you'll see me run the most. The first one, and I was surprised that this made on my list, especially this high up, was the Tech 9. But the Tech 9 I've been running a lot the last few days, and a lot last week, and I found that I really like the way this gun just feels. My biggest problem, one of the reasons why it slots in at 5 and maybe not a little higher, is because you don't get a suppressor, so you get position concealment instead of sound suppression, and the difference is position concealment, you still show up on the minimap, it's just like half the time, so it's just a quick blip, versus sound suppression, you don't show up at all. But that being said, the main difference in this loadout compared to my other Cold War SMG loadouts is because this thing has 3 firing modes with the single, the burst, and the auto, your muzzle attachment becomes the full repeater. You don't have any kind of silencing, so it's not worth, you know, hey, I get one shot, I got a single shot, but I'm off the minimap. You're going to be on the minimap no matter what, and the full auto repeater gives this its fastest possible time to kill. And then it's normal otherwise. Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, Stanag 48 round mag. You may have noticed now, Cold War weapons, I have dropped the stock and just helped my overall movement speed with the Bruiser Grip instead. But if you prefer the stock over the Bruiser Grip, I would go ahead and run that. You're not going to get super penalized, especially if you're not a super aggro player. And now top 4, and top 4, just like with my AR list, my AR and LMG list, I think the top 4 is kind of interchangeable. Number 4 is the PPSH. I have that here. It has the second longest damage drop off. It doesn't have the most competitive time to kill, but it's a really good sniper support because it still has a pretty competitive time to kill, and it's got the second longest damage drop off of any of the SMGs in the game. It's just the normal SMG loadout, Grew Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, 55 round drum. If I'm running an aggressive sniper like you saw in my loadout videos with the CAR or the Swiss, I would run the PPSH. It has a almost as long a damage drop off as the Milano, but it has a faster up close time to kill than the Milano does. And so the PPSH for me just fits in a better slot, and it's one of my top SMGs. I run it with both sniper and with LMGs, and I haven't had any problems with it. It has a good time to kill, and like I said, it's got that long damage drop off. So I've slotted that at number 4, but in my opinion, you could really switch 1 through 4 depending on what weapon you're pairing it with and your play style, but I think they're all very good SMGs. Number 3 is the Bullfrog. It's my favorite SMG for Iron Trials. It's got the biggest mag. And it's one of the most versatile SMGs. It's got, I believe, the 3rd best damage drop-off of all SMGs, both Modern Warfare and Cold War. Plus, it's got a 50-round mag, so you don't have to run a mag attachment if you want. But I run as the Grew Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, and Bruiser Grip. The change here I would make, if you want to run a stock instead of dropping the Bruiser Grip, I would drop the mag because it has the 50 stock, and then you could choose between your 2 favorite stocks. You could still run the bigger mag. You could run 65. I don't think you should need 85, so I would stick with 65 because you get no ADS penalty and you get the 65-round mag. And if you have to run that, I would consider dropping the Tiger Team and the Bruiser if you like the stock. But you can run it just like this, and you should have more than enough ammo, especially with the crazy movement you'll have between your stock, your laser, and your underbarrel. That 50 can be enough, especially if you know how to finesse. Then number 2, and I really believe number 2 and 1 are very interchangeable, especially because number 1 got a recent nerf, and number 2 hasn't been nerfed in a little while. It did get a nerf at one point, but that's the Cold War MP5. And the Cold War MP5 does deviate a little from the Cold War formula, as we've seen before, because instead of running a barrel, which only gives us like maybe an extra 1 meter of damage drop-off, which isn't really worth it in an SMG, you can get a cleaner iron sights instead. You can get these iron sights. Normally they're the full circle and kind of a thick circle, and it's a little bit harder to see. But we run the Age Expressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, Stanag 50 round, and then your preferred stock. Other than that, you could do a barrel if you really want, and I would drop the stock, but like I said, you don't get the clean iron sights, and you don't get a huge benefit. And then number 1 was recently nerfed, but I still think it could be the best, and I think 1 or 2 very interchangeable, like I said. And that's going to be the OTS. And the OTS is going to follow the normal SMG build. And that's Screw Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, and 40 round mag. Once again, just like the Mag 10, this does run out of ammo kind of fast, so I would consider the 40 round fast mag. But like I said, it just depends on your play style and how you want to run the gun. But the 40 round fast mag could be useful, especially if you're very aggressive and you don't want to spend the time finessing, you just want to reload and kill. You could, like I said, once again, drop the stock for Bruiser Grip or Tiger Team Spotlight, and that's kind of up to you, but I do think either this or the Cold War MP5 are the best SMGs at this time. But that all being said, I hope this video was helpful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more. Let me know down below what SMG is your favorite or what you think of my list, my loadouts. I always look forward to hearing from viewers. But I will have my social medias linked down below, so please feel free to visit those. I will see you on Rebirth Island and in Verdansk. Get frying. Have a good day.